Blade from 1984, directed by L. Scott Castillo Jr., one of the obscure 80s slasher movies that you used to see sat on the video rental shelves during that same period, picked up by many a wide-eyed teenager attracted by the big box VHS and the eerie EC comic book style cover art. The movie pretty much disappeared along with those great dens of delicious dinginess that were the video rental stores back in the day. And the film itself, if it were not for the movie's maker L. Scott Castillo Jr., would have been lost to the annals of film lore as well. But the original print was presented by the director and restored in recent years and put out onto DVD and now onto Blu-Ray as well. Arrow Video have given a new lease of life to what truly is a rare title indeed in the horror subgenre slasher pantheon. The movie itself on Blu-ray is released by Arrow Video on the 11th of July 2016. The movie storyline is a simple one with a couple of groups of winter holiday makers going out to a mountain resort for some skiing, fishing and bonding, only to fall prey of course to a local urban legend who stalks and kills with a knife. Locals whisper of the legend of an ungodly mountain man with a grudge against outsiders, and of course, in true horror traditions, the body count soon rises as the killer cuts through the cast on one bloody night of murderous miscreancy. Satan's Blade really isn't all that great, if truth be told, but of course over the years it has become one of the horror holy grails amongst film collectors due to its obscurity and rareness until now. The VHS of the film goes for hundreds of pounds if you even manage to find one up for sale. It is a largely plodding tale though, spending a large duration on interaction of the holidaying characters, but at least they are all largely natural, if not so great on screen actors. Interestingly though, along with the director himself, pretty much every one of the actors in the film never made another film after Satan's Blade. That in itself would make for a neat found footage horror story potential if done today. Satan's Blade does have its good moments though. A nightmarish dream sequence is bizarrely creepy, and the end sequence evokes good memories of schlockiness from horror original highs, the likes of Friday the 13th and Carrie back in the day. Overall, Satan's Blade is a rare curio, one that true horror fans and collectors alike will want to seek out, but the larger demographic will likely be disappointed by and even cheated at spending good money on. Horror and slasher film fans, particularly from the 80s, this film is actually a watchable 4 out of 10, with a few moments of originality and horror cliches to keep die-hard fans watching throughout to the end, and the Arrow Video release here with its newly shot bonus material and extras picks the entire package up to a deserving 6 out of 10 overall. The two interviews with writer-director L. Scott Castillo Jr. are quite bizarre though, and like the film itself seem to be actually older than the time period stated. It is as if the whole thing were done in the mid-70s. Very strange. The interview with Castillo talking about the film and showing off original film-related pieces is actually cringeworthy in itself, and you feel quite awkward for the poor guy, as a very odd, peculiar middle-aged woman just sits next to him in a chair, barely uttering a word throughout, as his would-be interviewer. Very peculiar indeed this is. L. Scott Castillo's revelation of his gloved hand itself wielding the blade in many of the kill scenes is a nice little touch though, and akin to what Dario Argento used to do himself in his films. The actual Satan's blade, with its blade and handle, is also a neat piece central to the film itself, along with its purpose and association, its name revealed in the film. Flawed, most definitely, but also a curiously interesting, almost lost horror film that Arrow Video breathed new life into. Just as well, coming back to me watching the movie, it made me chuckle each time the killer was off screen during the film, but around as the music cue for him was like the old theatre music score played at the old silent movies during the 20s. You just keep picturing the killer as Lon Chaney playing the Phantom of the Opera as the killer was on the fringe of coming into shot in the movie. Very, very funny indeed. Overall, the film, Satan's Blade, is indeed a very curious piece, but not without its curious factor of wanting to look into it and see what the film was made and what it was about during the early part of the 80s. The film states itself as being made in 1984, but truth is it seems to have been made in 1980 and took a few years to get released, which may be why the reasoning is that the film does seem to be more suited to the mid-70s than the actual 80s itself. But definitely a bizarre one, very, very interesting to find out what happens behind the scenes and the making with the director. And overall, Arrow have done another fine release. Anyone seen this one? Do let us know your thoughts if you saw it way back in the 80s or during the video rental days of the 80s and the 90s, or if you are curious to find out more about it and if you intend to pick this release up. Do leave us your comments below or any questions you may have. We look very much forward to responding right here at the Geek Legion of Doom. Till next time, thanks for watching. Bye for now.